myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
Jeter ends his final game with a walk-off single.
Here's the drive to left. That one is long gone.
Welcome to the Long Gone Podcast. It's me, Michael, and with me, as always, man.
What up?
Steve Ford.
How's it going, man?
So up.
Another day.
Another day in the suck.
That's pretty much it. It's January. I told you January is like my least favorite month of the year.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of January or February.
It's depressing. Christmas is over, so obviously I'm crying on the inside and the outside, although I'm still holding on to some of my decorations.
Nothing to look forward
as we
to.
record this here in the middle of the month, my Christmas lights might still be on my house, and they might be turned on right now.
Hey, I don't blame you, man.
Yeah, you know. Gotta do something to make me happy, because January fucking sucks.
Yeah, because when you get near the end of the year, right, September, I mean, you know, summer, it's always great. Then you get right into the holiday season for the 3-4 months, and then it's just like there's nothing for a long time.
Yeah, it's the abyss. I feel like January takes forever. It's 31 days, and it's cold and depressing usually, and it's just gray out. It's like the soulless month of the year right there.
And that's a show, everybody.
That's our show. Have a good night, everyone. We'll see you next week. All right.
Hey, you know who's having a great month?
Oh,
Alex Bregman.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, he's having a great month. That's why he's in my song for this week's show. And going to the Cubs, I found that one out when I was at Craig's Cruisers. Took my daughter out to Craig's Cruisers for a little eat and play combo, and they had MLB Network on the TV there, and I was like, wait, what's going on here? Oh, well, Bregman action here. Okay.
All I can hear once you said Craig's Cruisers is the theme song. Craig
Cruises with the fun. Dude, I will send you a picture. They need to update some of their stuff, because we did the go-karts, and they have like the sponsors listed, you know, for sponsoring the go-karts. One of their sponsors still on their little mural, Star Theaters.
Really?
But it's been closed for a good 20 years. But hey, cool. All right.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's
it's
crazy.
AMC theaters now. Gemma didn't get it when I pointed that out.
One time.
It was fun. You know, I hadn't done the go-karts in a while.
Yeah.
You know, it was a good time. Yeah, there was, you know, the kids need to learn how to drive the go-karts though. But anyway, Bregman, Cubs.
Yeah. Anyways, Bregman probably can buy 1 million go-karts.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. With $175 million. Yeah, fuck yeah, you can buy a whole ass load of go. You could probably buy Craig's Cruisers.
Okay, Steve, bigger fumble. The Red Sox not signing him, or the Cubs overpaying him? Or is it a fumble at all in the Cubs? Some Cubs say it's not a fumble.
I'd say it's a bigger fumble on the Red Sox there, because you know they were so freaking nice. I saw reports that they thought they were the only ones laying down the money with the big offer. You know, they didn't think that any other teams were in pursuit of him there, and they laid out, I think it was 5 years at 165, and the Cubs got him for 5 at 175. So only a $10 million difference. But you know, the Red Sox fumbled it, A, because they were so stupid they didn't think anyone else was involved. B, there were some sticking points, I think, with the default money and the the no trade, the lack of a no trade clause. So it was a bigger fumble, I think, on the Red Sox there. They crashed and burned, I think.
Yeah. Well, look no further.
Look no further. You found the biggest losers right here. It's the Boston Red Sox.
Well, Red Sox fans, anyone that is listening that is a Red Sox fan, fear not. You actually do have a legitimate prospect pool right now. It's kind of hard to say, because were you guys legitimate contenders with Bregman? Yes. With Devers, when he was on your team with Bregman, yes, that would have been a killer time. And Bregman, you lose a leader, you lose a good bat, you lose a guy that's productive in the postseason. But I will say, fear not, I still think the Red Sox are still good without Bregman.
It's not this coming year.
Well, I don't know, man. I mean, you're going to get a lot of young players last year one thing that the Red Sox were really smart about were bringing up a lot of their young guys. And I thought it was smart that they started the year with Christian Campbell. It wasn't working out in the beginning. Let's go down, get you some better at bats in AAA. I think he's going to come back and be better this year and be the guy that they needed him to be this past season. They got Marcelo Mayer coming up. They already got Roman Anthony, who split time, who I think is going to come out all cylinders go. And, I think it was smart for them not to get rid of Jarren Duran. And I don't know, Steve. I don't hate this Red Sox team. I actually think they're embracing their youth now. I mean, they're fully bought into their youth. And one of the bright spots, I think, is their rotation. I really love Garrett Crochet, and I honestly don't think it sucks losing Bregman because you're losing a guy that gives you 80 to 90 RBIs a season, an instant leader in the clubhouse, a Gold Glove third baseman.
Yep.
But
winning
you know what? And I know the Red Sox are down and out, but I just want to say to Red Sox, it's going to be okay. I think you have one of the better young teams out there. And remember, you were still winning games when Bregman was hurt a lot of the season.
Yep. Yeah, because he did his Bregman-esque injury like he always does during the season where he misses a month or two. And they were still right in it until the last, made the playoffs, in the close in the division there. And you're selling me. And they have Alex Cora as their manager. So, Mike, you're selling me.
Yeah, and that prospect pool is good, Steve. I think they just need a couple more quality bats. But I think they're kind of doing what I hate to compare them to the Tigers, but they're kind of doing what the Tigers did by bringing up young guys, getting them a lot of at bats during the season. And it was tough, right? It was tough for the Red Sox here and there, but then they started picking it up. I think you're going to see that with some teams with some young players. Look at the Twins with what they did with Keyshaw, with Luke Keyshaw. I think he's going to come up and be an impact. I think Brooks Lee is going to have a better season. I think it's smart getting these young guys up there ahead of time to see what big league pitching's like. And if it doesn't work out, you can always bring them back down like the Red Sox did the Christian Campbell. Bring them back down, then you can bring them back up. I think it's going to be okay. So listen, I think to me, what I think the biggest fumble with the Red Sox was saying, okay, Devers, we're going to give you what you want. Instead of just figuring out that issue and handling it better, they just didn't want to deal with it anymore because they're like, you know what, fuck it. We already got our guy in Alex Bregman. We'll let Devers
we're hitching our cart to Alex Bregman. He's going to be our guy. You know what, Devers? You're out, buddy.
Yeah. You know what? We're good. And then
we're good. Yeah.
But the problem with
Holmes line.
The problem with that was you thought you actually said it in your opening about Bregman when you were saying that they thought nobody else was going to compete with that offer. And I think they were naive to think that somebody else, or arrogant to believe that somebody else could actually do better than that offer. And I think the proof's in the pudding when it came to the no trade clause. I don't know if the Red Sox offered that. I also don't. There's no opt-outs, right? So, and I bet the Red Sox threw opt-outs because any John Henry contract has usually opt-outs in it. So, honestly, Steve, I don't think they're worse off. I like Bregman a lot. If he was 28 years old, even 29, I'd be like, wow, that sucks, Red Sox. But you know what I mean? He's going to be pushing in his mid-30s pretty soon. I don't think you're losing tons. I think you're losing a little bit. The leadership, I think, goes more than anything. But I don't think you're losing a lot because you still have a lot of good players in that system.
And, let's, also chalk up the division that they're in too, right? You got the Blue Jays are coming off a World Series appearance and they're not going away anytime soon. And the Orioles got better by getting the Polar Bear and bolstering their lineup. And Tampa Bay's always putzing around doing so they're in a very tough division.
Very tough.
Yeah, losing out on Bregman might suck, in regards to right now. But like you said, their future is bright, and it's going to be a very hard division to win right now anyway. So bide your time and probably be grateful you don't have to spend all that money.
Right. And I think I would be more scared to know. I want to know if the Red Sox are scared to spend money because when they started unloading a lot of their talent like they did with Mookie Betts, what feels like forever ago now, suddenly you're starting to see them not pay. Right. You're not seeing them, and then they brought in Bregman on a pretty good contract, but then you're like, oh, maybe they just don't want to pay the big contracts anymore. So I'd start being worried about my youngsters, but that's future Red Sox problem, I mean, you could be worse off like the Tigers and Skubal. I mean, it seems like they literally want Skubal to hate him. I don't get it. I don't get this. Okay, Steve. Okay, so the Tigers are letting this go to arbitration and saying, hey, we don't want to pay you like $12 million more or something. So they're really drawing a line in the sand. But a lot of people are saying because the arbitration laws in baseball are stupid. I honestly am not a big fan of them. And a lot of people think some people are applauding the Tigers for combating this, and other people are being like, wow, way to make your star more pissed off.
And you and I have talked about on the show, signing Skubal long term probably isn't the best idea, but the Tigers are essentially sending a message right here that we don't want you here long term, based on their offer that they had here. They're so far apart. I think it's like the biggest gap between team and player, I think, in like arbitration history or close to it.
Right.
What I see here in the Tigers offer is like I said, it's a team that shows fuck you. We're not going to keep you here most likely long term. We're going to maybe pay you $4 million more than the corpse of Alex Cobb that we signed for $15 million last year. But you're coming off 2 Cy Youngs. We'll give you a $4 million more raise there. And I hear people talk about, well, they paid, it's very similar to David Price. Well, that David Price was 10 years ago. All right. The $19 million deal that they end up giving Price was 10 years ago. With inflation, that'd probably be 25, 26 million. If you would have come in with an offer like that, you'd probably been closer. Wouldn't have pissed Skubal off most likely as much, and probably would have been better, closer to making a deal. But I'm sorry, I just think it's a lowball offer, and it just shows that this team is fucking cheap and obviously have no interest in signing him long term. And if you don't have any interest in signing him long term, then trade him. All right.
Yeah, then trade him. Don't waste.
Just trade him.
Yeah,
don't waste our freaking time here. All right.
Don't waste our time. You're wasting Skubal's time when it comes to what he's worth, because the longer you hold on to him, the less his value is, which he knows, which we know, which the Tigers know, and the less we're going to get for him. Right. So it's bad on all sides. If you're going to trade him, just trade him.
They're fumbling this thing, man. This is, and if I think we talked about it last week, and it shows past, if Scott Harris messes this up, the guy needs to be fucking fired. All right.
Yeah, I'm not a big Scott Harris guy.
Time and time again has messed these things up when it comes to the Eduardo Rodriguez trade. The trade that should have been, and just stupid idiot moves on his part, signing a guy, paying $15 million to Alex Cobb, and the guy didn't fucking pitch an inning in the major leagues. He basically flushed $15 million down the toilet. Kenta Maeda, just some stupid contracts and stupid fumbling when it comes to trades and stuff. And if he fucks this one up too, bye-bye. All right.
Yeah, and it's already looking like it's been, I don't like the way they're handling it. And it's hard because the market and us were saying deal now. But their thing is like, well, and the opposite side is, well, what if they keep them and try to make a run at it? Well, then you're not signing anybody. You're not doing anything this offseason.
Well, and like you just said, the Tigers have shown interest in Chris Bassett and Lucas Giolito, but they said that interest will go away if they have to end up paying up for Skubal in arbitration. Just how fucking cheap is this team?
Yeah,
all right. Your only contract you have on the books major is Javi Baez and the Gleyber Torres, options for Flaherty and Torres.
Yep.
You're not your bottom level payroll. You're telling me you can't fucking pay Skubal for 1 year and then go after a couple more pitchers here too? Then it's one or the other. That's some bullshit.
Yeah, it's sad. The whole thing's sad, and it's just I don't think Harris is that guy. I just
Nope.
I just don't think he's that guy. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. It's not looking too good, and I mean, you really need a bulldog as a GM. You can't have a guy that just goes through the motions, which is really sad to see. So we'll see. One player that we were hoping that the Tigers would at least look at.
Yeah.
But of course, since he's owed $42 million, the Tigers were never going to look at it. Is Nolan Arenado Nolan Arenado
Which is
today got
freaking
traded.
funny because the Cardinals are still going to pay most of that contract.
Yeah, $31 million.
You tell me the Tigers couldn't pony up $11 million over 2 years to pay Arenado? I think the Diamondbacks are paying like $6 million and $5 million or something over the last 2 years, and the Cardinals are paying the rest. And the Diamondbacks gave up an 8th round draft pick or something like that.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, the Tigers just don't value them. They don't value.
No,
they don't value their own franchise. They value. They want to draft and develop without spending a lot of money. I think the Baez thing really fucking put the nail in our coffin and spending for the future. And it doesn't help, like you just mentioned, with the bad Maeda contract, the Alex Cobb contract. I mean, if I'm an owner, I mean, I don't want to let Chris Ilitch off the hook because I think he's to blame for a lot of this.
Right.
But Scott Harris has shown the ability that he can't spend money wisely.
Correct.
So it's like, oh boy, do I really want him to be dealing with and he's the president of operations here. So it's a tough one, man. I mean, the Nolan Arenado deal, it's good on the D-backs. Like I said before, I think it's very similar to Evan Longoria. I think he's going to come in. I think he's going to be that extra bat that you need in the lineup. He's going to play maybe 120 games at most, and you're going to get a guy who's definitely a Gold Glove third baseman. Doesn't have to play third base every day, and I think he's going to be good. He'll get you some RBIs, he'll get you some homers. I think there's a lot of quality to his game left.
Too.
Yeah, with leadership, and he's not a liability at the plate or in the field. So I think this is a win-win, especially since they traded Josh Naylor during the trade deadline. They needed something else in there. And I'm not saying, Arenado's the guy. I'm not saying that, but I am saying they need to show that they still want to win. Right. So good on the D-backs, good on the Cardinals, because the Cardinals they got rid of Contreras, they're embracing the rebuild. They're like, listen, we want to draft to develop and then maybe sign down the line. But right now we're just drafting and developing. So we're trading all our assets, which is smart. I think it's really smart.
Yeah. This is take notes, Scott Harris. This is how you run a team right here. All right. You know, you make the moves and you better your team, and the Diamondbacks are showing that they want to compete. So good on them.
Yeah, it's hard when you have a GM that acts like they're the smartest man in the room.
So that's the thing that really pisses me off. It's like every single GM in Detroit thinks they're the smartest person in the room here.
I don't get it.
But where are the championships from any of them? You know?
Yeah,
we're seeing flashes of it finally after 7 years with the Red Wings. They might finally make the playoffs. Trajan Langdon's doing very well in his second year, but Scott Harris and Brad Holmes, they think their shit doesn't stink.
Yeah,
and it freaking pisses me off.
Yzerman's the same way, and he's one of my favorite all-time Detroit sports stars. And it's this motto in this town is let's not overspend, let's draft and develop, and then go from there. Two of the teams are owned by Chris Ilitch. I mean, if that's a sign of anything. So, I don't know, man. It's just something. Every team is hooked with their, kind of with their owner. I really do think the Tigers are playing this not only cheap, but I think they're also trying to be smart, considering the new CBA that's right around the corner.
It's true.
Because I think that they're counting on, like other teams. I think that's why you're not seeing a lot of moves this year or last year, because a lot of teams are anticipating a lockout for 27.
That's a good point.
They don't want to be under contract with a player that they don't want to pay for that year. I get it. But to a fan, you're saying, well, we just don't care about winning this year then. So that's just like, okay, so the fans are the ones that really, I mean, they're the ones buying the tickets and the merchandise. They're the ones that are suffering. But, like most owners, they don't give a fuck, so.
Nope.
This is where we are in sports. Yeah.
It blows.
It blows.
You know what? We'll see you next week. All right? Fuck out of here.
We have a really incredible guest today that we're going to introduce in a little bit. But Steve and I, we can't get away without doing what we do every year. And this is the time where we start it, because we have 10 positions to go over with the Then and Now series. Yeah. And we have to get this started. We're in our Then and Now.
Now. It's going to go right into the season.
because before, Steve, remember when we started, we'd start like kind of a little bit later, and then we'd be into the season still doing our then and now. We kind of want to be done before the season. Right. Like, holy man, dude, we want to talk about opening day, not then and now. But this has been always a staple for the Long Gone Podcasters, our then and now series. We take we pick a decade, and we have the best top 5 players of that position for that decade compared to who the best players at that position are right now. Steve, we've done the 80s, we've done the 70s, I believe we did the 50s. It's time to do this. It's time to do the 90s. And
that's our time.
We've been talking a lot about the PEDs and where we stand on it. We've done that over the course of the show and our 6th season now. It's no different. We don't love the PED aspects of it, but we can't deny the talent that was from the 90s. So, Steve, we'll go 5, my 5, your 5, my 5, 4. We'll go back and forth. Give me your number 5 best starting pitcher of the 1990s. We are going to the 90s.
And like we said before, when it comes to PEDs, when we're looking at these, we know that PEDs were rampant in the 90s, but we're just looking at their overall stats, whether they were tied to PEDs. That's one thing, but the stats are what we're looking at here. And for me, at number 5, I'm gonna go with the guy that you don't hear about too much anymore, but he was quite a dominant pitcher in the 90s. That's Kevin Brown. Obviously won a World Series with Florida there in 97. Best year in the 90s was probably his 1992 season, where he finished 6th in the Cy Young voting with a 21-11 record. But just a very serviceable pitcher. In 96, he led the league in an ERA of the 1.89 ERA, finished runner-up in the Cy Young. But just quietly throughout the 90s, he made multiple All-Star games. Just a very serviceable pitcher. Occasionally in the top 6 in Cy Young voting. Just a durable, really good strikeout pitcher. Led the league in innings pitched a couple of times, and just a pitcher you don't think about as much when you think about 90s baseball. So Kevin Brown, he comes in for me at number 5.
Yeah, and you don't hear about Kevin Brown at all too much. When looking back at some of the greats.
You just heard about him now, though. So there you go.
Heard about him on Steve's list. He is his number 5 best pitcher of the 1990s. This is an interesting decade. As the positions go, it gets a little crazier. But I think the pitchers were pretty even on where we stand with it. I'm going to go number 5, Tom Glavine. I got to throw one of the best Braves pitchers in here. It was really hard to choose which Braves pitchers, except when we get later in the list. But Tom Glavine, I couldn't leave Tom Glavine off my list. A 300 game winner, 3.54 ERA, a little bit higher ERA at the end of his career. We were talking about a guy that had a total of 413 innings pitched in his career, 2-time Cy Young Award winner, obviously a Hall of Famer, 10-time All-Star, World Series MVP. When we were talking in our interview that we recorded earlier today about Tom Glavine, he was actually a good hitter for a pitcher. And I mean, yeah, he was one of the few good hitting pitchers out there. So I'm going Tom Glavine all day. A class act of a pitcher. I still love Tom Glavine to this day. So number 5 for me, best pitcher of the 90s, is Tom Glavine. Steve, who you got for number 4?
Number 4 for me is, someone I wanted to put higher on the list, but, he's a bit more of the wild thing in the 90s. He kind of honed it in later in the 90s. But that's Mr. Great Mullet himself, Randy Johnson. He comes in for me at number 4. Like I said, he started out the decade there. He led the league in walks 3 straight years to kick off the 90s, but then he started to freaking figure things out, and then he just became a freaking strikeout machine, where he led the he went from leading the league in walks to leading the league in strikeouts for 4 straight seasons there into the mid 90s. Obviously a Cy Young Award winner in 95, and then again in 99, and then that was the first of his 4 straight, kicking things off in 99 when he was with the Diamondbacks. But I just remember always the great pitching that he had there in Seattle. Like I said, I would have liked to put him a little bit higher, but he's kind of up and down for a bit there in the 90s for me. But just a fantastic pitcher and just an intimidating guy. I mean, you're looking at a guy who's 6'10", 6'10" pitcher, the lanky, just staring at you. I'd be scared. I'd be peeing my pants if I was in the batter's box with him on the mound. So yeah, Randy Johnson gets in for me at number 4.
Number 4 for me, I went with a big game. This guy, when you're thinking big game situations, you always look to this guy, Pedro Martinez.
Nice.
Yeah, it's so when I think of the 90s, I always think of Pedro Martinez. He started his career with the Dodgers, then he went to Montreal and became a star. He an absolute, probably one of their last stars. I've seen a few documentaries about the Expos, but if they had the last star of Montreal, he'd be right there with Gary Carter and
Vlad
some of those
Senior.
guys, Vlad Guerrero, but he was Pedro Martinez was one of the last stars, certainly as a pitcher for the Montreal Expos, and then he went over to Boston and became a legendary. I mean, this is where he established his Hall of Fame career. 3-time Cy Young Award winner, Triple Crown pitcher. Finally, he was a part of that 04, one of the best World Series to ever live. Right, 8-time All-Star. I mean, this is a guy, obviously he's a Hall of Famer, wasn't the biggest statured guy, but he just a Dominican Republic legend. I mean, absolute legend. On this list, if I would say who I want in a big game, I think I would choose Pedro in a big game. Like if it's like I need to win Game 7, I want to choose Pedro because the guy was as calm as you. I mean, you've seen this fierceness to him on the mound. How he was off the mound was totally different. How he was on the mound, he was like a killer on the mound. And then off the mound, he was like this happy-go-lucky guy. And to this day, I mean, yeah, man, I just loved watching him pitch, and he was so crafty on the mound. So for that, definitely, he comes in at my number 4 best pitcher of the 1990s. Steve, number 3, what do you got?
I loved him so much that I put him in as my number 3 pitcher. Pedro Martinez comes in for me at number 3. Like you said, a 3-time Cy Young Award winner. There and the only thing breaking him up from 4 straight was a runner-up performance in '98 with Boston. So, like you said, probably one of the last big stars there in Montreal. 97, he was 17-8 with a 1.90 ERA, and he pitched 13 complete games. You weren't seeing, by this point in the 90s into the 2000s, you weren't seeing complete games anymore. He led the league in complete games, in that 97 season, but just a absolutely dominant pitcher. You look at in that 97 season, he 241 innings pitched. He only gave up 65 runs, and of which 51 of those were earned. I mean, that's just straight up domination there. Just a fantastic, fantastic pitcher and just truly dominant. So Pedro Martinez, he comes in for me at number 3.
Yeah, one of the best of all time. Number 3 for me, I went with the Rocket, Roger Clemens. Listen. 7-time Cy Young winner, 2-time Triple Crown, 2-time World Series, 7-time ERA title leader, MVP, right? Won the MVP one year. Listen, I mean, he's not number 1 on my list because of the PEDs, and we can kind of tell where the PEDs happened in his career. So from 1985 till 92, he was probably the best pitcher in the game. I mean, he was the best pitcher. At that time, he already won 3 Cy Youngs. He was with Boston, right? He was in the big moments. He was such an elite pitcher, and he broke up on the scene. Then he had a couple of years after that, which were down years, right? And I think then then he started taking PEDs because you saw the change in him a little bit, right? He got a little bit older. He was in his early 30s. His body started changing, and then when he came in 97. He was with, I think, Toronto at the time, and it was like, okay, Toronto, and then I want to win my back-to-back Cy Youngs. I'm going to win another one with the Yankees. Those were his PED years. I don't know how long he continued PEDs for. I think it helped him. He said he took PEDs to recover. It helped him recover faster. Andy Pettit said the same thing, like PEDs helped me recover faster. That's neither here nor there. I still think he would have been a Hall of Fame pitcher had he not done. That's the bitch of this. When you talk about Barry Bonds and some of those guys, it's like you didn't need the PEDs. You're going to be Hall of Fame no matter what. Like, what are we doing here? But like I said, from like 85 to 92, this dude was literally, I'd say even 86 to 90, 91, 92. Roger Clemens was the Rocket. Yeah, he was one of the greatest players of all time. And for that, I mean, he would have been higher on my list for the PEDs. But yeah, I still got to go with him when you think of the 90s. I mean, you got to think of Roger Clemens. So he is my number 3 best pitcher of the decade, 90s decade.
No, he comes in. Roger Clemens actually comes in for me at number 2, just for what you said, just the sheer dominance and growing up. I just remember, I was always wanted to get a Roger Clemens card. I think I still have one of those Upper Deck Collector's Choice cards, those cartoon cards, and it's Roger Clemens is a cartoon of him with as the Rocket. Just complete dominance, and Mike, like you said, you could just see right around 90, 93, 94, 95, he kind of went downhill a little bit, and then I think that's when I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna I have to do something to keep myself relevant. So he started roiding up, and then went to Toronto, and like you said, back-to-back Cy Youngs. I mean, when you go from 10-13 one season to 21-7 the next, all right, come on.
That looks as suspicious as Barry Bonds' head.
It's Barry Bonds' body type changing from 2001 or 2000 to 2001. It's
what happened?
Barry Bonds' head. What the hell happened? But like we said, put the PEDs aside. He's just an absolutely dominant pitcher there. I mean, you're looking at a guy in 1990 who had an ERA of 1.93. Pumping in the innings, 91, over 270 innings pitched. Just absolute, domination, strikeout machine here. Lead the league in strikeouts multiple times. I mean, throughout the 90s, he led it, 4 times. It looks like, in the 1990s, he led the league in strikeouts, pushing close to 300 some years. So just an absolutely fantastic pitcher for that decade. So for me, Roger Clemens comes in at number 2.
Number 2 for me, man. Everybody in Arizona and Seattle loved him. Birds hated him.
Birds hated him. I was gonna say he killed a bird.
Randy Johnson, dude. I think he's the prototype now, right? I mean, he's the big pitcher, and from Randy Johnson grew this whole wave of large pitchers. I mean, it's kind of unique to see somebody Pedro Martinez's 5'11" height now as a pitcher. Spencer Strider. He's tiny compared to what you would see now out of Hugh. I mean, Eric Cole's like 6'5", 6'6". Paul Skenes, he's 6'8", 6'9", right? I mean, the big people like big power pitchers now. That's been this thing for the last 10 years has been big, 15 maybe, power pitchers. We need those big power pitchers. And Randy Johnson, I believe, started that wave. And on top of it, he was a southpaw as well. Just throwing gas all the time, led him to 5 Cy Youngs, 10-time All-Star. You covered a lot of his accolades and his stats, and he earned every one. I mean, a guy that had a little over 4,800 strikeouts, and I remember watching him as a kid and just the sheer dominance on the mound. I was afraid for batters just because he was so tall. He had a slingshot for an arm, and he always looked like he was pissed off, and it was immaculate. Top it off with his biker mullet that he had. He just fit that fucking era, man. So I'm going with Randy Johnson for number 2.
Oh, solid. And one we agree on is number 1, and that's Greg Maddux. I mean, the guy was just an absolute beast. I mean, you're looking at a four-time Cy Young Award winner, all consecutive seasons. Talk about a bulldog for a pitcher. I mean, he led the league in pitching 5 years in a row there, in the 90s. A guy in 1995 went 19-2 with a 1.63 ERA, and you thought, oh, that was good. The year before, he had a 1.56 ERA. He's pitching complete games, led the league in complete games multiple seasons. And not only the pitching, he played fucking defense too. I mean,
one of the best defensive pitchers ever.
18-time Gold Glove Award winner right there. ERA title 4 times. Obviously the World Series with the Braves in 95. The guy just his nickname was the Professor because he was just, he knew you could teach this thing. He just knew what to do. He was just that good. So yeah, Greg Maddux, he comes in for me at number 1.
Yep, same for everything you said. Is he the greatest pitcher in this list? In my opinion, no. But we're talking 90s. If we're talking strictly 90s, Greg Maddux was the elite pitcher in the 90s. I loved what Randy Johnson did from 2000 on. I thought he was great. I loved what some of these other pitchers did. Pedro did from 99, 2000 on.
Yep.
But would I say he's the Maddux is the best pitcher in this list? No. But I mean, he's definitely the best, like I said, in the 90s. And he was such he was so crafty on the mound. He was a technician, and he was one of the smartest pitchers I've ever seen. And he backed it up, with talk. He backed it up all the time.
Yeah, I did.
He wasn't another guy that wasn't big. He was like 6 foot and just a good throwing righty. But he beat you with his glove. He beat you. He could paint corners better than anybody. So pragmatics for me comes in at number 1. Steve.
Yeah.
Now we're going to the now, man. This one was a tough list.
Going to the now.
This was a tough list. The first few were kind of easy, but then you thought there could be a bunch of other guys on this list. But we had to make 5
question marks. Yeah. Yep.
I'm looking at your number 5, and I'm very surprised. Who do you got for your best pitcher? Great. No. He goes,
coming in for me.
It's a mistake. No.
No. It's definitely not a mistake. This guy's definitely on the up and up. All right. We got a small sample size with him, only 3 seasons. But we're looking at a guy, number 5 for me, I went with Brian Wu of the Seattle Mariners. And it's a guy coming off of last season, 186 innings pitched, a 15-7 record with a 2.94 ERA, made his first All-Star game appearance and finished top 5 in the Cy Young's award voting. He's only, he's going to be 26 coming up this year. I think he's definitely at the top of that Mariners rotation, and just keeps continuing to make strides forward. I mean, came into the league in 2023. With a I know you don't like to talk WAR too much. His WAR was only a 0.5, and then he moved to a 2.3, and then last year was a 4.2. So he just keeps continuing to get better. 186 innings pitched, he allowed only 64 runs and striking out almost 200. So I think, his trajectory is definitely still on the upswing. And I like him a lot. And I'm going to go, Brian Wu comes in for me at number 5. Shocker.
I had to. Yeah. When you think of Seattle pitchers, I don't think Brian Wu right away.
You think George Kirby or
Logan Gilbert and some of those guys.
Gilbert. Yeah. Yep.
But Brian Wu makes a lot. Luis Castillo, man, fucking Seattle's really.
They got a hell of a staff.
They really do, man. And I had to choose someone on my list from the Phillies. I could have chose Ranger Suarez. I could have chose Christopher Sanchez, who just had a breakout season last season. But I'm going to choose the ace of their staff, who ended the season not how he wanted to. He got injured with TOS, and he's going to be there, they say, the start of the season, so that's good. But that's Zach Wheeler.
Solid.
6'4", big-time right-handed thrower, 2.71 ERA last year, 10-5 record out of 149 innings pitched, 195 strikeouts, couldn't eclipse 200 mark. He has been a revelation for the Phillies ever since he's been there, right? I mean, they always have those guys with the Phillies, the Cole Hamels, the Aaron Nola. Well, the next iteration now is Zach Wheeler, or he's the next one out of that group, and he has been the one. And he's going to be 36 now, and he's been doing it for a while. I mean, he started with the Mets, and then he moved on over at age 30 with the Phillies, and just been a sensation for him. Probably will retire a Philly. Might have his banner up there or his jersey up there hanging one day. Who knows? But this is a guy that I've been robbed before of maybe a Cy Young or two. But Zach Wheeler, man, I'm going to go with him for my number 5. Yeah.
Solid. I like that. It's definitely a very good pick. I was teetering whether to put Zach Wheeler on my list or not, and biggest thing was just coming off of how last year ended for him. So
right.
And for me at number 4, I went with the ace right now, ace of the Yankees staff, and stupid move on the Braves for getting rid of him. That's Max Fried. I mean, he had Max Fried's first year here in New York was a fantastic one. Made the All-Star team. Gold Glove Award winner, 4th in the Cy Young voting at 19-5 record with a 2.86 ERA. 189 strikeouts. This guy, is a strikeout machine. I will eventually win a Cy Young. I think there's definitely a good opportunity for it, but similar to Greg Maggs, he's a hell of a fielder too. So 4 Gold Gloves in his career so far. He's in his early 30s here. I think he's going to be the top pitcher on that Yankees staff here for a while, and I really like what he did this past season. So Max Fried, he comes in for me at number 4.
Yeah, he stepped up for Garrett Cole being out. Great pitcher indeed. Hopefully he can continue his success from last year.
For sure.
A guy that I chose was Yoshinobu Yamamoto. I thought was a great pitcher last year. I was really down on him his rookie year. I was like, man, I don't know if this is the guy, right? Nah, I don't think this is the guy. and he totally expectations were just above and beyond.
He's like, F you, Mike. I am the guy, all right?
2.49 ERA, 201 strikeouts, 173 innings pitched with a 0.990 whip. Made his first All-Star team, World Series MVP, two-time World Series champion in his first 2 years in the league, which is pretty damn good. An MPB legend. Yeah, Yamamoto has been a revelation, especially in the playoffs. I think I started really coming around to him in the postseason. And you're talking about a guy who's not very big, nice small right-handed thrower, 5'10". I mean, he looks small, is small, has like a Juan Marichal kind of look to him in terms of body type, but he's another tactician on the mound, right? I mean, he can come at you with speed. He has some of the best off-speed stuff I've ever seen, where he can come at you and really drill in a high 90s pitch and then drop off the table into the high 80s. I mean, he's really a real special talent, Yamamoto is. So for that, and I think he's going to get better. I mean, he has a potential to be higher on this list in the future. So for right now, though, number 4, he is for me. Yep.
Number 3 for me is we talked about him a bit earlier, and it's that ace of the Boston staff, and it's another one where all you had to do was leave the fucking White Sox, and you're going to take off and be a star. Am I right? And that's Garrett Crochet. This is a guy who has a career under 500 record, but it's because he was playing on loser White Sox teams. Went over to Boston and then it took off from there. I mean, the guy went 18-5 last year, 2.59 ERA, made the All-Star team, runner-up for the Cy Young to Skubal, and top 8 in MVP voting. And I think he's gonna continue to that trajectory. They're still super young, 26. He's going to be 27 this season. And he's going to lead that Boston staff for years to come here. I mean, the guy had 255 strikeouts, led the league in that this past season, over 200 innings pitched, tied or had the league in shutouts with 1. Just a fantastic, you talk about Bulldog, 6'6", 245, very intimidating on the mound. So Garrett Crochet comes in for me at number 3.
Number 3 for me is Garrett Crochet as well.
Hey, look at us.
Look at us. Look at us.
All right, cool.
Former Tennessee Volunteer. I remember watching him in college. I thought he was good then, and a lot of people didn't know if he was going to be a starter, like an ace in the pros. But I saw the work ethic. I seen how he would get blasted on one start in college and then come out and then just totally revamp himself and be like a whole new player. So to me, that's just a sign of really good work ethic. A very hard throwing left-handed pitcher at 6'6". He's a monster. 18. I loved in those 18 wins last year. He earned every single one of them, and there were times where it was just him out there and he was getting no run support. And to me, I think we're going to hear about this guy's name for a while now. I think he could have actually won the Cy Young last year. Yes, Skubal maybe deserved it, but I think even if Skubal didn't win it, I think Crochet was very, very much deserving of it.
No one would have been pissed if he took it home last year, I think.
No, absolutely not. I think the White Sox, I don't understand why they gave him up. I understand you want to go into a rebuild, but it's like, so you keep Lubob, but you peddle Garrett Crochet. Doesn't make sense to me. But I understand to get the prospects you want, you had to peddle a high profile guy, and Crochet became that the last couple of years. So, good on him, man. Garrett Crochet, I think, is a guy that, we're going to be hearing from. He's only 26 years old, and he led the league in strikeouts at 255 last season. I think he could do it again this year. I think depending on where Skubal goes, if Skubal's out of the American League, I can see Garrett Crochet starting to win the Cy Young going forward.
Crochet run.
Yeah, absolutely. So, he comes
Crochet his way to a Cy Young.
Yes, number 3.
Number 2 for me. It was very difficult between 2 and 1. I feel like they're 1 and 1A just with their dominance right now. But number 2, I'm going to go with Tarik Skubal, our reigning back-to-back Cy Young Award winner. This is a guy who had a respectful 13-6 record this past season. How he's able to still get 13 wins is great, because I don't know about you, I watched almost every one of his starts this year. The guy didn't get any fucking run support to save his life. So how he's able to pull 13 wins out is beyond me. But 13-6 record with a 2.21 ERA, 241 strikeouts on the season, had a whip under 1 at a 0.891. Strikeouts to walk ratio was 7.3 strikeouts to every walk. The guy is just, pinpoint accuracy. He's just going to bring it in, and he's that bulldog on the mound that you want to see. The guy is so competitive and leaves it all out on the field, and just a joy to watch. Truly a come out of nowhere. We've talked about it before, a 9th-round draft pick a few years ago by the Tigers, and just emerged himself as the star that he is now. And it's been great to have him on our team. On the Tigers these past few years. We all know he's not going to be here probably after this year, but for me, Tarik Skubal, he comes in for me at number 2.
Yeah, it was a guy that nobody's seen take off, and he did. And it was great. It was a great run in Detroit so far. And 2-time Cy Young Award winner, possibly more down the pipe. We live in an era now where wins aren't as important for a pitcher anymore. Right. They're not as valued, right? Because the analytic world we live in, the analytics want to see pitchers with stats they can control. Even strikeouts, right? I mean, strikeouts are sometimes people are like, yeah, just because they have high strikeouts doesn't make them the great pitchers. I still believe in that stat, right? So,
you too.
But a lot of people will look at stuff like, well, okay, well, how about the run support they're getting? Look at the guy could be 5-12. It's like, oh, he's a dog shit year. But yeah, but it's his team. That's why you see people like Dylan Cease and Jesus Luzardo and some of them guys where it's like a lot of people value them because they're analytical darlings, but they're not like what you see is what you get on paper kind of people like Skubal. Skubal is what you see is what you get, right? The 2.39 ERA from the year before, the 2.21 this year, the 2.28 strikeouts, the 2.41 strikeouts. To me, that's proof in the pudding. And to me, that's always going to be my number one. When I look at those stats, I look at the whip, I look at the strikeouts, and then I look at the innings pitched and what he's doing in those innings pitched and compared to others. You look at that, he's a dominant pitcher of his era right now. So Tarik Skubal, no-brainer, number 2. Yep.
Yeah, and for me, number 1, we agreed on number 1 as well.
Yeah, another no-brainer.
Skenes. Yep. I mean, we're talking about a guy who, you talk about the proof in the pudding, record-wise, be like, 10-10, this guy freaking blows. Well, he's on the fucking Pittsburgh Pirates, and they couldn't score a freaking run to save their life whenever he was on the mound. He always had those hard-knock 2-1 losses when he would take a loss. But, I mean, this is a guy who went 10-10 this past season with a 1.91 ERA, which is actually a slight tick up from last season where he had a 1.96 ERA. So I mean, the first 2 years in the league, your ERA is under 2. Strikeout machine, over 200 strikeouts this past season, won the Cy Young, Rookie of the year before. I think he's going to roll off a whole bunch of Cy Youngs, and in typical Pirates fashion, they're going to use him until it's time to pay him, and then they're going to go peddle him off to a different team, and round we go, right? But Paul Skenes, he comes in for me at number 1.
Yeah, great pick, same. Paul Skenes, number 1. You see it, the guy battles when he's up there, right? I mean, that's why he has a low ERA and under 2 ERA after the years he's been. I'm a little skeptical. He hasn't had Tommy John yet. So you wonder if that is ever going to come, right? I mean, is it going to be a day where he's going to need Tommy John? And will that knock him out for a year or 2 or a year and a half?
That's definitely possible, yeah.
We've seen it take down great pitchers, so he's right now, I mean, he went from 170 strikeouts last year or the year before last to 216 this year and around the same ERA, and he gets better and better and better.
Sure.
So right now he is like he's pitching like Clemens was before steroids, right? The 80s, early 90s Clemens. I mean, this guy is in the stratosphere at the ripe age of 23 years old, so. Yeah, it's pretty spectacular right now.
Yeah, he really is, and I mean, it just sucks that he's with the Pirates, right?
It does. I like that he's with the Pirates because every team needs a star, but it just sucks that where that marriage is headed, right? It's like that girl.
Same way it is with all the other Pirates.
Marries an old dude.
Garrett Cole. Yep. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
It's like, once he dies, she's just in it for the money, right? So Paul Skenes, that relationship's only going to last so long before it's about the money, and then he leaves,
Yep, exactly. So, well, it's fun. That's our then and now for the starters, and we'll move around the diamond next week. Or was it catcher time?
Catchers.
Yep. Catchers. Yep. As we move around the horn, I'm looking forward to that. And
will Adley Rushman stay on the list? Will be number 1?
Story at 11. Oh, I'm sure Big Dumper is going to make his way somewhere on the list here. It's just a matter of what about a JT Realmuto who still doesn't have a team? Is he going to make it on the list? And
I'd be pissed if I was Realmuto. I'd be like, so you're focusing on Bo Bichette, but you're not worried about me right now?
But you're not worried about me? Yeah. You know, F you.
Yeah, I'd say that to him. Yeah, I'd say, fuck you guys.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You hinted on it earlier. Oh, we have an interview this week, don't we?
Yeah, we did talk. We sat down with somebody who is bringing forth a unique aspect in baseball, right? We talk about the game evolving all the time. We talk about the kind of prospects we get in this game. It was so many years ago we started getting the Dominicans, Cubans, Hispanics, and before that, with Negro leagues and blacks joining, and it's totally shaping this world. And look at when Nomo became one of the first Japanese players in the league, and then suddenly there was this breakthrough on Korean as well, and then Otani's breakout and such and such. But you know who we don't talk about enough is Native Americans in baseball.
Yeah, for sure.
It was interesting. Yeah.
It was very, very interesting talk. DJ is a great guy, very insightful, and I really enjoyed talking with him and learning a little bit more about what he does, and the stories that he had to tell. It was a lot of fun talking with him.
Yeah, I mean, he is bringing forth a new wave of Native American ball players. There's Ryan Helsley, right? I mean, you have some great Native Americans in baseball, but there's not enough of them. And somebody like DJ Carrasco, who we had the honor of speaking with, who is a former Major League player, is helping put forth, and he's doing it on a very humble, nose to down, you know what I mean? Head down, doing the work. I want to bring this game to the Native American people, to his people, and grow the game. And right now we're seeing the dividends of it. It's coming out a little bit. It's starting to percolate in the pros, and suddenly it's coming out there. We're starting to see a lot more people come through. So enjoy our interview with DJ Carrasco. With us today, former Major League pitcher, founder of Native Nations, DJ Carrasco. Thank you for joining us on Long Gone.
Thanks for having me.
So let's get right into it, man. I want to, there's a lot we got to ask you. Very much appreciate you joining us, but right away, we kind of want to get into your beginnings in baseball. I want to get to the start of it all, how you were introduced to the game, and when did you feel that you could do this for a living?
Probably, I would probably say, when I mean for a living, I'm talking about the big league level, not just professional in the minor leagues. Mm-hmm. That's not a living. We were making literally $360 every 2 weeks. Like that's slave labor, right? So that's not a living. But I would say in A-ball, I had a year in Lynchburg that I was pretty good that year, and I knew I was as good as my peers, and that's when I thought I really had a chance to be a big leaguer and do something special.
I'm looking at, you pitched for obviously pitched for the Mets, the Royals, White Sox. You mentioned the White Sox earlier, Diamondbacks. With you pitched in some of those big markets, especially like New York, and under some fiery managers. What's one moment on or off the mound that you feel shaped you the most as a professional?
I mean, it wouldn't be in a big market. It would be, and I think almost everybody would probably say this, whether it's a hitter or pitcher, but your first outing, right? Your first at bat, your first hit. My first outing, Dahlbach was up, and I just wanted to throw a fastball away. Like all I want to do is not give up a home run in my first at bat. And I'm like, fastball on the black. I'm going to let it run off the plate. It's going to be a ball. I don't want to throw a strike on the first pitch and have that be what I'm known for in my career. And I'll be damned, dude. I threw it an inch off the plate, and Brian goes out there and just looked like a pop-up swing to me, right? I came from A-ball to the big leagues, though. I got Rule 5, so I didn't do the AA, AAA, and the spring training was a kind of my getting my feet wet really quick. And I thought it was a normal pop-up because in Lynchburg the year before, those 20-year-olds, that was an easy fly ball standing up to the left fielder. Raul Ibanez goes back, and I'm like, oh, my God. Luckily for me, he ends up catching it right on the warning track, like catch it, hit your back on the fence, and then just throws the ball to the fan. So that was a scary moment, but that's when the whole dream since a little kid, like I arrived, I belong here. I can do this, right? And you build that confidence. Well, I built that confidence up during spring training to know I can get big leaguers out, but that was That's not, you didn't make a big league team in spring training. It wasn't until you actually pitch in a season game that you've arrived. So that's always my thing, is being able to get my first out in the big leagues.
Sigh of relief probably after that too. You're like, whew.
Oh, I asked, oh, hey, where's my ball, man? Like, he's like, oh,
he threw it to a fan.
hey, like 2 bats and a ball just for my worthless ball. It's only good for me here, but
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he felt horrible about it, but yeah, no, it was a sigh of relief. Then I went out there and had a really good rookie year, and everybody has their bumps and bruises, and I tricked people for long enough to play and at the big league level for 8 seasons, and a lot longer than I ever thought I was going to play. I'll tell you that.
Kind of looking at a lot of your clips, your arm slots on your throws kind of radically vary from like over the top to almost like a submarine style, which you don't see a lot of. How did you learn to like command those throws? And were there any coaches that tried to break your style? And were there any other coaches that really were a key to your success?
I commend you for like paying attention to that. And those are some really good questions. So I like to say my blessing was my curse, right? The Pirates purchased my contract from an indie ball team for $1. So that's the curse. But the blessing is I could do whatever I wanted because they didn't care if I got hurt. So I started toying with different arm slots. The year before, I was with the Cleveland Indians organization, and they wanted me like straight over the top. Then like downhill plane was a big talking point and harder to hit, which whatever. But my velocity also dropped like 5 to 6 miles an hour because it just wasn't a natural slot for me at that time. I was more of a low 3/4 arm slot in high school and threw much harder. And so I also tinkered with my dad. He was a fast pitch softball guy. And so I would just try farting around, throwing hard balls back and incorporating that to a back bend in the throw, similar to El Duque, right? What El Duque did. And I was able to throw strikes with it as well as balls with it when I wanted to. And there's nobody else that does that. Like, that's different is better. And I remember vividly, Allard Baird was our general manager when I was with the Kansas City Royals. I made that team. Tony Pena called me in. And I asked Allard, why did you pick me in the Rule 5 draft versus everybody else? There's righties out there that got better slider than I do. They throw harder than I do. They're just better tools in and out. But he's like, I love the fact you changed arm slot. You're a different look. We have to face the same team 3 times in 3 days. Like, you're a different look for everybody. You can manipulate the ball a little bit different. And the ironic thing is, I back up to that year I got Rule 5 in Pittsburgh, and I literally got dog cussed for changing arm slots. Like, you need to stay over the top and this and this and this. And their management and player development hated it. The Royals loved it. Like, one man's trash is another man's treasure. So I was found by the right organization where I can flourish. And I used to beg the Pirates to let me go to Instructs to work on throwing these different arm slots. And they didn't have the time of day because they only had $1 invested in me. So it was a really roller coaster ride. But at the end of the day, I still believe this now when I coached and scouted and played, different is always better if you can execute it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. Going throughout your career, you mentioned eight seasons in the big leagues. You faced some elite hitters throughout your career. Who was one particular batter you always had to mentally gear up for, and what made that matchup the most challenging?
That's such a toss-up. You already know the answer to that. You got it on your screen with that big D right here. You got to know it. Ordonez absolutely owned me.
Yeah.
Bro.
Did he?
I could have thrown the rosin bag and then he hit it out of the park. I think the only time I got that dude out was like a laser line drive out to the shortstop, and like probably a bad call by the umpire, front door slide at him and punched him out. That's it. Victor Martinez was another dude in that division that kind of went over there too that I had a hard time with. But there's always those guys. I could tell certain guys what's coming; they'd ground out every time. And other ones, I could throw 5 at a time and they hit all 5 balls in the same swing. Like, it's just. But Ordonez absolutely owned me, no doubt. One of your Tigers.
He's a great hitter. Oh man, I love
Baglio.
Going over to Native Nations, I first found you with your article with The Athletic, and that's kind of where I got to know just a little bit about your background a little bit more as I dove in. And in Native Nations, what I found, or what I assume, is about representation and visibility. So why do you think it's important for the Native youth to see themselves reflected in the sport? Because when you hear baseball, right, you hear Dominicans, you hear, Puerto Ricans, you hear that, but obviously Native Americans, you don't hear a lot about that. Now it's why is it so important to you for Native youth to see themselves in the sport?
Well, I mean, that's a great point. You touched on a lot of things, and I'll go back to my childhood, right? You asked a question earlier, when did I know I arrived? I answered that, but the other one was, when did I know I wanted to be a ball player? Like, that might be a more important question to ask. And it wasn't until when I was a young kid, my mom would watch like Dallas and Days of Our Lives, the soap operas, right? So I figured that was what she did. And me and my dad would watch the Dodgers, right? There was the Braves, Dodgers, and Cubs, I think, were the three teams on like the UHF and like the ones we can get or whatever it was. And so I was a Dodger fan when we watched Dodger games and grown men playing baseball. And I thought that was his soap opera. I couldn't put together in my young mind that that's actually people making a living and there's teams to be fans of. I didn't understand all that. But a week later, I don't know, a week later, we watched them forever. But I remember one day I walked in the house and I seen the Little League World Series, which I didn't know at the time. It was a Little League World Series. And I seen kids a little bit older than me and my cousins that were playing all the time on TV. And then the light bulb kind of went off and I was like, Dad, how are those kids playing on TV? Right. I didn't know what it was, but I just knew kids were on TV and I knew TV was a big deal. And so he explained to me, hey, that's the same league you and your cousins playing at the fairgrounds, and life lesson moment, right? If you're good, you get good grades, you work hard, you're disciplined, you make all the right decisions, all of that stuff. You too can play on TV like these little kids. And by the way, those little kids grow up to be the guys we're watching on TV. And I, for some reason, I couldn't put that together in my young mind until we had that conversation. And I'm like, oh, so I can be like old like you and play baseball the whole time? And he's like, yes, if you do these things. And so that was the inspiration to me, right? I had strangers that I looked up to that looked like me on TV. And so that's what I'm shooting for here, right? Like players that are native, and there's some, I'll rattle off some names here in a minute, that these kids and these youth can look up to, right? There's a lot of disparity in some of the communities. There's a lot of, there's good and bad everywhere, right? It doesn't matter the community. I'm not here to paint the picture that everybody has it. Whoa, look at me. But I want to create a pathway of recognition similar to Mexico, Canada, Cuba, Japan, Korea. This is a population base that was everybody. There's no arguing that they were the first people here, and they should be represented. Our government looks at them as a sovereign political subdivision. People don't get educated on some of these talking points in school, so we kind of just don't. They get lost in the mix and so on and so forth. But I firmly believe that they should be represented at the Olympic level and every international level in between. Now, when I got done playing, part of my journey led me to be a major league ambassador to baseball. And a big part of that was in New Zealand. And New Zealand has an indigenous culture called the Maori, as well as their British law colony portion, right? The Kiwis. And so they actually played together. I was on staff for the WBC team. So they had a national body that these guys were able to play with. A little bit different than what I'm trying to create, but I see an indigenous culture that had younger kids looking up to their peers that wanted to do the same thing they're doing. So it's just an inspiration thing. It's a pathway. We take it a bit further. We do character building, health and wellness, life skills, and trying to connect the dots. I asked you earlier about the platform you're on. There's something similar that I want to be able to provide with my network. You're now anybody's network, so these communities can kind of soak up the knowledge and everything about baseball and softball and every sport in between.
Keeping with the Native nations, you touched on it a little bit. How did the idea for this company start, and were there any personal experiences that inspired you to build something focused on Native athletes?
So I touched on that. I think being part of that New Zealand Maori culture for about 6 or 7 years, from grassroots, Little League, World Baseball Classic, Olympic qualifying, speaking, like I seen what that kind of inclusiveness brought those communities. So I always had that in the back of my mind. Back home, took a job up here in Northern Arizona as a field territory manager. A lot of my clients were native Navajo, Ak-Chen, Salt River, and I became really good friends. I played with the Diamondbacks, so it was a really easy in for me in a conversation piece with a lot of these leaders here. And we played ball together. I got invited to play on one of the res ball tournaments. I still play as an old fart. I played adult league ball. And so we went there and just made friends with everybody, man. And then it just hit me all of a sudden, like, I did this in another country. I'm home now and there's no representation. Yeah. Why is there not? And so I spent about a good year and a half researching, digging in, calling my connections at the PA and at MLB, and just trying to figure out, is this possible? What does this look like? And here we are, year 3, year 1 on like actually doing something. We had our national tournament, went to the Babe Ruth World Series, the only native team ever. We have our charter. blah, 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 so on and so forth. We're a member for the WBSC now. So I've knocked down a ton of walls at trying to bring this awareness and this pathway. And it happened way faster than I thought. Mike, you mentioned the Athletic article with Ken Rosenthal. And
Yeah.
I mean, we were sitting well over 200 million impressions around that. So there's a big awareness and like this desire to do natives play. How do they play? When we're at the World Series, I mean, some of those, the parents, the umpires, like I didn't know natives play baseball, right? And so again, Ryan Helsley last year, he's one of my bigger talking points. Was reliever of the year last year, not this season. The year before, Jabba Ellsbury, Robbie Ray. Like there's names out there that are stud. These are dudes, man. And I guarantee you, there's a few handful more that once you ask that. Adrian Hauser had a monster year. Nobody know Adrian was native Cherokee. That dude's a Cherokee. He would be on my WBC team carving fools up. Like I've seen on the New Zealand, we were a Pool B type team. I think Native Nations in the future will be a consistent Pool A team and won't have to play into it. I do believe we're that good. There's a handful of big leaguers now, and once the question is asked and within MLBPA and the minor leagues and the major leagues, who's native, the hands can start going up, and then we have a bigger pool to pick from. That gets televised, and all those kids in those communities are now, Mom, I want to do like that. Like that's my story, how I wanted to be like that, and I don't see it being any different in any walk of life.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, to get the TV time too, I mean, that's going to be huge for what you're trying to do. I mean, and that's something, I mean, even with that article, it was just something where it gets people talking. It gets more eyes on it. And, and you're kind of the person that they look to, like a key figure that could help bring this up. So, looking ahead in all of this, DJ, I mean, what's your dream vision? If we could look in 10 years in the future from now, not saying it's going to take that long, but say 10 years from now, I mean, do you hope to build academies, sponsor tournaments more, like create a full pipeline of native players that can reach college or, Major League Baseball, like consistently?
Anything and everything, all of the above. Like I'm not here selling major league dreams. Like it's a little bit more than that. It's character building. It's inspiration. Like I hate people that sell major league dreams, but there will be a major league. Yeah. Somebody's got to wear that uniform. Somebody's got to be that elite player. So there will be that for them. What you just said, 10 years from now, I truly believe in my heart of hearts, we'll be in the Olympics. Like we really will we'll be in the WBC conversations. It's not possible right now, but some of the conversations in the background that I'm having, I think we're be able to move some walls and be in that regional tournaments around this national tournament that I'm having. That might be as soon as 2 or 3 years from now. We had 40 tribes and we had a 5-week notice this year to do our national tournament. We had $0 in the bank account. Dave Dunn at the Salt River Talking Stick Fields donated those fields for us. There's no algorithm on Facebook or Instagram around Native American baseball. Like we're creating that, right? Like there was nowhere to put money to even market that. So it was as little as we had. I don't know a lot about social media marketing. We did what we could do. 40 tribes showed up, 5 leaders, 2 countries, 8 states. We were broadcasted on FNX, which is the largest native broadcasting network. Like it was just amazing. The way that everything came together was awesome. Went to Babe Ruth. We were on, I think it was NBC or one of those CNBC or whatever it was. They were televised there and we did well. I mean, we were probably middle of the pack. We played up and down to our competition, but that's fine. Like year one, I wasn't worried about it. We won Sportsmanship of the Year award. Again, just this really cool energy about what are we doing? Who are they? What do they look like? Wow, look how respectful they are. Our parents were amazing. There's never an argument. Umpires love to call our games. And so, academies are part of that regional hub. Tribes will have not every tribe is the same. Some have the infrastructure to have a hub as an academy. Some don't, right? Some will be strategically placed in other areas. But it's all funding. It always has to do with funding and general operations and donations. And we have some big supporters. Rawlings has been absolutely amazing for us. What do you need? And then if we can help, we will. Like there's several in my network here in Arizona. We just all came together to throw our first national tournament and kind of set the bar way up here. And so now we got to try and duplicate that next year. And Salt River Tribe was gracious enough to to help us out with that for next year. And so we're thankful for all the tribes, Muskogee and Morongo, Saboba, all of those tribes really kicked in to help us out this year, past year.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
That is great. One more here from me. You touched on it a little bit. Now that you're out of the league, there's still a Native American presence. You talked about Helsley, one of the best relievers in the game, and Jacoby Ellsbury from the past. Then you got high ceiling players like an Anthony Siegler. Are there any upcoming prospects we should look forward to entering the league here soon? Do you think?
There's an outfielder with Houston, Jordan. I can't remember his last name. Escaped me right now. I'd have to pull up the spreadsheet. Hauser, I'm a big Adrian Hauser fan. Check out his stats. Like, he flew under the radar, stud starting pitcher, ended up with Tampa, started with Texas. And I think he went to White Sox, and then the White Sox traded him. So he's a dude that will be a household name, I believe, like can really sink the ball. But I don't know. So, Steve, to your point, I think we're probably a couple months away from me and the PA saying, okay, look, we're the real deal now. Can you put this out on your communications app, Medium, and whoever's native is? And I've started getting calls. I've built up a spreadsheet of the high school kids and the college kids, and as they filter into independent ball, they'll be better. And I don't have that megaphone yet, right? Like, that's going to come probably year 2, year 3, and some of the relationships I'm trying to build in the back end, and just things like this on the podcast. You might have 7 or 8 kids that nobody knew were native. And hey, we went to the Babe Ruth World Series. We found 4 native kids that want to be part of our tournament pathway next year. And so with your audience, there might be a few of them too that are like, I want to go. Get on our website, nativenations.org. And we have a place for parents, coaches, players, sponsors, all that kind of stuff that they'll inquire, and we'll now have them on the docket, and we'll follow up.
Beautiful.
I don't, looking at this too, because I come from a film background as well. And I've noticed in recent years, a lot of Native American filmmakers are starting to come to the light more. I mean, a lot of people they're getting noticed. They're getting their props finally. And it's not like they've never been here, but I don't understand why it took so long for people to notice, not just filmmakers, but then you have TV shows that are highlighting certain tribes and in their way. And I just don't understand. I guess a big question for me, DJ, would be like, why is it taking so long? Why has it taken so long for somebody like yourself to take the reins now and say, hey, we're represented too, and look what we can do? Why hasn't there been more of a push in recent years or in past?
I don't know, Mike. I really don't. But a lot of the leaders I talk to, like, we don't know why this hasn't happened. Well, and part of that is it helps, right? I'm a major league ball player trying to create a baseball program. Like, that makes a lot of sense. That opens a lot of doors. That takes, like, I get taken seriously versus somebody that might not have that background. And so there hasn't been a lot of native big leaguers that are known anyways that have taken on that idea, right? I didn't think of it until 3 years ago. Like, and it was there the whole time. Nobody even thought about it. And so I don't know. I truly don't. I'm sure it's been thought about before, whether it just drops dead or they just don't know who to call and can't get very far. They don't take them serious. A whole plethora of different answers can be there, but we're here now. We're trying to put our stamp on stuff and create this pathway. Part of what you said, like, we want to do a docuseries. Like, we got a lot of content that we would love to do, but like, I'm a ball player, bro. I'm not a producer. I'm not a fundraiser. I'm just going on what I know and how to teach and make players better and so on and so forth. And along the way, we've had some great people that have donated their time and want to be part of the cause. But, we're in the position now where we need to be taken serious. And, like, for instance, in Babe Ruth alone, Babe Ruth Cal Ripken charter, we have 16 different opportunities, 8 boys and 8 girls ages, to send teams to a World Series tournament with them.
Wow.
So, but every one of those, there's funding involved, so it's tough. So, but we're proud to say next year we're going to do girls softball, and we're going to continue to do the young men's baseball and take them all the way to the World Series again and have some fun.
My last question for you, it kind of coming back and rounding it all off, looking at everything you've done in your life, DJ, everything that you're doing with Native Nations, I want to ask, aside from family, aside from family, what are you most proud of? Like, when you're 6 feet under, a long time from now,
I
What
think
can you look
this will take the cake if it becomes
Yeah?
what I think it will become. 100%. I mean, you're
Yeah.
talking about this is legacy, dude. This is
Yes.
generation to come will have
Yes.
they'll be able to wear something on their chest and play for their country of their origin, right? Like not what somebody else says this is the country of. And so that'll live on forever, man. And if you guys have seen our name, it's Native Nations with sevens as T's. I don't know if you noticed
Yes.
that.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm not a numerology guy. I was number 77 in baseball. I got a funny story about that. It picked me. I didn't pick it.
Yeah.
And in indigenous and native cultures around the world, if you look into this, there's something known as 7 generational thinking. I don't know if you heard of this or not.
I
Some
have.
cultures are a little bit different. Some are 7 years in the future, back, 3 forward, 3 back, current, like whatever it may be. But the general idea is the decisions we make today, we need to take into consideration how it's going to affect the next 7 generations forward, respect the past, like whatever. There's that forward thinking that goes with this. And that story changes slightly from tribe to tribe. But it's true, man. And this is something that I think like, look, I'm not a Hall of Famer, whatever. I played well over my skis, and I'll admit that, and it was a great time. I had fun. I'm able to take on this project that's just a bear because of the fact that I was able to make a little bit of money in the big leagues, and I have the time to spend now on this project. And I think it was designed that way. I think I was supposed to be the one to do it. For whatever reason it is or isn't, I'm not probably the most qualified in the aspect of how native, how nonprofits work, but that's why we have a executive director to do that stuff.
Yeah.
So I think this will be one of the most things I'm proud of, and being able to, start that torch and pass it on, and when I'm well and gone, I'm hoping I see it all when I can kick my feet up and not have anything to do and just watch that first team play in the Olympics, and then here comes the basketball team in the Olympics, then a soccer team. Like,
Yeah.
it's gonna happen, man. It has to. I don't know how it can't happen. We're in a day and age now where information like this can be shared like that. Like everybody's gonna know. Like, and it's either you pick the right thing to do or you don't. Like, in my opinion. So.
Well, how'd you get 77 then?
Yeah. How'd you get
Okay,
77?
so I'm gonna go back even a little further. And when I grew up on the West Coast, and when I got to the Pirates in the minor league, I was number 21 in high school. And so I'm gonna be 21 when I'm in pro ball, right? And so I went into Bubby asking for 21, and he's like, "No, really." I didn't know who Roberto Clemente was at the time because I played baseball, I didn't watch it. And so I'm asking, it's obviously retired number in the Pirates organization. So I got basically smacked on back of the head to be 21, right? When I was with the Royals, though, I was able to be 21. So I had that for a while. And fast forward, kind of jump around White Sox, whatever. I became a free agent, and I went back to the Pirates as a big leaguer. And we are in spring training in Bradenton. And I told my wife, "Hey, I'm a big leaguer. I can pick my own number now, but I can't be 21. Obviously, that's what I wanted to be." But she's like, and I'm like, "Well, what number do you think I should pick?" Right? Because I was always assigned numbers before that. She's like, "Be 7." And I'm like, "I'm not going to buy somebody a Rolex because everybody has 7. There's always a 7 on it. It's a lucky number, like no shot."
Yep,
She's like,
yep.
"Be 77." And I'm like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, why would I be an offensive lineman in baseball? That's what they give the guys in spring training that are nobody.
Right.
Like,
Yep.
that's a nobody number. And I'm like, I have all spring training to pick. I'll figure it out. It'll come to me. I'm not kidding you guys. The next morning, I go in my locker, and hanging is the number 77. I'm a 5-year
Whoa.
big leaguer at this point. Like, you usually don't give big leaguers 77, right? Like,
Yeah.
you'll give me a lower number or whatever that's kind of matches the idea of you're a big leaguer. But I'm like, well, she told me, like, there's a reason all right, I'm 77. And that's kind of how that happened. And then, like, through life, again, I'm not a big numerology guy, but when certain like things in life happen and are special, those sevens arise. I didn't know what 7 generational thinking was at the time when I put the 7 in the T's, and our board president basically said, "I absolutely love this." Like, and then he's the one that educated me on 7 generational thinking and what it means. And I'm like, if that's not a sign to tell you,
Yeah.
dude, you're on the right path, this is what you're supposed to be doing, then I don't know what is. So,
Yep.
yeah,
100%.
that's the story of that. My wife told me to be an offensive lineman in the closet and break.
It all worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
That's great. Oh boy.
There's stories for days, guys. It just
Yeah.
I'm sure with all you get, there's some cool stories, man.
Oh yeah, we could go forever. But hey, man, I appreciate you joining us. Everybody, if you look up Native Nations, and do you have you mentioned a website earlier? Do you want to say the website again?
Yeah, nativenations.org. Easy enough. You do Native Nations on any of the Facebook, Instagram, all of that, they'll be there too. I'm not going to pretend to know what the heck is going on there. Like I have a lady that does that, and she's good at it. But I appreciate you having me on Long Gone and give me the platform to kind of move forward what we're doing here at Native Nations and kind of share some fun stories of the past.
Sure, man. Yeah.
Thanks for bringing up Maglia Ordonia, Steve. Appreciate
it. They had a giveaway at Comerica Park one time. It was Maglia Ordonia's hair night. So basically, it was his tiger hat with his beautiful hair that was on the back there, and it was a fun giveaway.
Yeah, those are some fun days.
Oh boy,
White Sox guy too. He got me with the Sox too, man.
Did he? That's great. It was nice having you on. Great talking with you here.
Always fun. If you need me back at any point in the future, give me a holler, man.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, I appreciate it, DJ, so much, man. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All righty. Well, we'll talk soon, fellas.
All right. Sounds
DJ.
good, DJ.
Bye.
See ya. Bye.
See you, man.
Well, hopefully y'all enjoyed that interview there with DJ Carrasco. Really cool guy. I loved his stories about Maglia Ordonias and just it's a very, very fun guy to talk to. Very cool. So hopefully you enjoyed that.
Yeah, I did too, man. It was one of those interviews where it was bigger than just the game, right? I mean, you're talking about affecting a whole nother people with this game, which that's what I love about baseball. So to me and to you, I think it was a very not an eye-opening interview, but it was an interview where we can look back and say, we talked about the beginning stages of what is going to be a big breakout in years to come. So yeah,
agreed. With that, shall we head on over to Collection Corner?
Let's do it.
All right. Yeah. Ready to ride the next big hobby wave? Market Movers puts the entire sport card and TCG market right in your hands. With pricing on over 7 million cards powered by real sales data from every major marketplace, including eBay, Fanatics Collect, Golden, Heritage, and more. Track your collection on mobile or desktop and instantly see value and P&L by sport, year, player, set, or grade. Compare any cards side by side, monitor live price swings to spot trends early, uncover underpriced deals, and set custom alerts so you never miss a move. With Market Movers, you turn market data into smarter buys, bigger profits, and a stronger collection. Sign up today and try it risk-free for 14 days and get 20% off for life with promo code GONE20 at marketmoversapp.com. And a special bonus, in February, we're giving away a hobby box of 2025 Topps Heritage High Number. To enter, sign up using promo code GONE20. We'll compile entries from December through the beginning of February and announce the winner during our February Hobby Huddle segment. Market Movers. Make every card count. Like I've talked about, I've been adding cards here into my collection on the Market Movers app. Folks really look to get on Market Movers. It's a great place just to have your collection just in one spot, and you can look at the trends and everything. But particular card that I added in is one that should be able to get, I think. I kept it local. This is a guy who spent his career with two teams. He started his career with the Chicago White Sox, then he moved on to the Detroit Tigers, and that's where he became his provenance there was with the Detroit Tigers. He was actually, signed with the White Sox in 1955, and then played with the White Sox in 1958 to 1959, and then he moved on over to the Detroit Tigers, where he ended up winning a batting title in 1961, and obviously a World Series championship with the Tigers in 1968. He's a 5-time All-Star with the Tigers. Definitely one of the characters on the team. I think there was one time during a Nolan Ryan potential no-hitter where he brought in a table leg from the clubhouse, brought it in and tried to use it as a bat. And the umpire is like, "What are you doing? You got to throw that." It's like, "Well, I'm not going to get a hit off him anyway, so I might as well just use something like this because we're not going to get a hit off him." And Nolan Ryan did eventually get that no-hitter. Played with the Tigers from 1960 to 1974. Really good friends with Al Kaline, and just quite a home run machine. I believe he's in the top 5 in regards to home runs and Detroit Tiger uniform. His nickname was Stormin. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, good old Norm Cash. Yep.
The old Storm and Norman Cash. Card I went with, on the Mark Movers app, tracking it here is his 1967 Topps. I remember a few years back, I wanted to get that Tiger team set put together, and one of the harder cards to get was the Cash card, because it was one of the higher numbers. So people didn't know back in the day with Topps, the higher number cards were less produced, so it was kind of harder to get those high number cards. So looking on the Market Movers app right now, that Norm Cash recently sold for as high as $65. So it's usually a card that, as far as the set, it's one of the most expensive cards in that set. So yeah, my 1967 Topps Norm Cash.
Did he drowned? Was that how he did?
Yeah, sadly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So gone too soon. Died at the age of 52 in 1986.
Damn. Well, my card isn't as sad.
Okay.
Okay. You'll easily get mine.
Okay.
8-time All-Star, 10-time Gold Glove winner.
Okay.
That's it. No.
No, that's it. Yeah. Guess from there. Good luck.
He was drafted out of high school. He's actually he's kind of mixed race, right? He has Cuban descent in him as well. Let's see. He grew up a Dodgers fan. Don't want to give away too much. Played baseball with Austin Romine and Matt Chapman. Like I said, was drafted out of high school, where he took off for the Colorado Rockies. Started coming out big time, swinging. Became instantly one of the fan favorites, right? In 13 and 14. And, at first it was one of those guys, because he ended up becoming the first NL rookie to win a Gold Glove at third base. And then in the, and then when he ended up getting traded over to the St. Louis Cardinals, where he was still a Gold Glove guy, but the bat went a little bit down, and people thought, maybe he's down. But I still think there's going to be a resurgence to this guy's career. But, I think he's still one of the greatest third basemen I've ever seen play the position in terms of fielding, for sure. He does everything just about right. I could go into some of the smaller specifics, but I kind of I figure he's a Christian, family man, but I'm pretty much sure that you already know who this is before I give out.
Gold. No, I'm just kidding. It's a guy we talked about a lot earlier, Nolan Arenado.
Yes, it is. Nolan Arenado.
Okay.
You and I, one of our first chats on the show was the trade from the Rockies to the St. Louis Cardinals with Nolan Arenado. It was around the same time the Mookie Betts from Boston to LA thing. And, it was one of those things where Colorado gave up one of the biggest stars they've had in quite some time. I mean, you figure Todd Helton was their last. Right. Well, I mean, even today, a lot of people say, well, Charlie Blackmon was a star after Todd Helton. Yeah, but Charlie Blackmon didn't put up anywhere near the numbers that Nolan Arenado did. And Nolan Arenado,
Blackmon could grow a beard, and that was about it. I'm just kidding.
Right. I mean, you like Charlie just because he played a long time and he had a certain look to him. But Nolan Arenado, he was a guy that just plays the game right, and he was a guy that got drafted later on in the first round, but he was a guy that you kind of knew would kind of be a little bit better. You always get a little skeptical of those high schoolers, but he's a guy that really took off and performed well and decided I'm good. And, his bat was better than his glove. And so he decided to work on his glove, and then his glove became better than his bat, which is pretty incredible. So, in the Market Movers app, I chose a card that I have, one I just recently grabbed, the 2024 Topps Home Field Advantage Nolan Arenado. Nice. Right now, average price is around $12. Current price is about $14. It sold for recently $14, so it's up 27.4%.
Solid. I like it. Well, with that, shall we get the candles out and celebrate a birthday?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, I talked about it earlier in the show that January is just a depressing month overall. Yes. Well, it's depressing for birthdays. Really had to scrape one up here. So I was looking on eBay for this guy, and his cards really aren't that expensive. So I picked his 1975 Topps number 104, his Gold Cup rookie second-year card there, and that's Bill Madlock. It's a happy birthday, to baseball journeyman Bill Mad Dog Madlock, born on January the 12th of 1951.
Okay.
I mean, this is a guy who, checked off one of our boxes when it comes to Hall of Fame. He's not a Hall of Famer, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this is one of the rare times where I did not pick a Hall of Famer. It's because the time that we're recording, I looked at the birthdays around the time that we're doing this, and there weren't any Hall of Famers. So I had to go with the person. Yep. January sucks, everybody. All right.
It does.
But his career stats here: career 305 hitter, 2008 hits, 153 home run or 163 home runs, 860 runs batted in. Started his career with the Texas Rangers, then moved on to the Cubs, then the Giants. After that, was on the We Are Family team with the Pirates. Moved to the Dodgers after that, and then was with the Tigers in that stretch run in '87, where they won the American League East. There, that was a key midseason pickup by the Tigers there to help their offense. And then he ended up playing with the Lottie Orions in the NPB League to close out his career in 1988. He's a 3-time career All-Star, a World Series champion, like I said, with the We Are Family Pirates team of 1979, and a 4-time NL batting champion. A little trivia on Mr. Madlock here, as Madlock is one of only 3 right-handed hitters to have won multiple National League batting titles since 1960. Roberto Clemente having also won 4, and Tommy Davis having won back-to-back titles in 1962 and 1963. So the Mad Dog, I got a build Madlock bobblehead when the Whitecaps giveaways. He was one of the Tiger Fridays, so I got that signed one here. So it's pretty dope. He actually has like a dog collar on. It's kind of dope.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, it's pretty cool looking bobblehead. I like it.
Well, happy birthday, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, there we go. Whew.
Yeah, well, that's a fucking show.
Good show, man.
Great
Really
show.
Good show.
Great show indeed. Coming weeks, finishing up of off season. By next month, our pitchers and catchers report.
Yeah, about a month or so. Yeah.
Yep. The Then and Now series moves on with catching, and this train's a fucking chugging, brother.
It is, keep an eye on. There's still some big name free agents out there that still need to find homes. We talked about Realmuto, Cody Bellinger's still out there, Suarez is still out there, Ozuna, Kutch, lots of starting pitching is still out there. Ranger Suarez, Chris Bassett. The old farts and Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer, where it's going to be, is it put up and find one more team, or is it time to hang up the cleats? We'll find out here. So, should be looking forward to seeing what happens there in the coming weeks. So,
hell yeah, brother.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, everybody have a great week, and we'll catch you guys all next week.
Deuces.